this is Murph, and today I was going to launch for you my new show, Murph Investigates. This was a show where I talk about things that I guess I want to investigate, so it's rather self-explanatory really. But during the recording of the sponsorship announcement, something very interesting happened. So we're going to let that play out, and yes, we'll cut to that in a minute. But first, if you can hear a sound in the background, that is our heater. We're in the colder months here. No one is interested in getting hypothermia. We love making these videos, but we should at least be comfortable. So, yes. Hello, Papa Murph here, and today we're going to talk about... What was that? I know that Murph burp. No, it couldn't be. Alright, we'll do another take. Hello, Papa Murph here, and today we're going to talk about... No, it's been 33 years. No. I'm sorry about all this, we'll do another take. Hello, Papa Murph here, and... No, it couldn't be. Thought I'd never see you again. It's been 33 years. Hello, Papa Murph. Oh. Well, this is certainly a surprise. The lovely young lady right next to me here is my wife, the infamous Mama Murph. We've been searching for each other for 33 years, and we found each other. Well, as you can see, Mama Murph, we've been making these videos for the YouTube thingy. The kids rather enjoy doing it, and I've been a bit involved with it, so, yes, perhaps you'd like to introduce yourself to our friends at home. Okay, she wants to get reacquainted first, so we're going to go and do that. And instead, Swimmer, you want to do the sponsorship announcement? Okay, yes, they're going to do that. Swimmer is going to do that. Okay. As you can see, yes, we've just met the mother of all of us Murphys, Mama Murph, and we've just kind of met her for the first time too, so we're all in a bit of shock here at the moment. It is amazing, and we feel really, really good, and it's very exciting for all of us. But someone has to do the sponsorship announcement, so I guess it may as well be me. All Murphiverse programming is brought to you by Home for the LD Lee. They sell laserdiscs, CDs, and HD DVDs. And if you put in the code Murph, as in Mama and Papa Murph, you get 20% off your order. So go check out Home for the LD Lee, the Kings of Laserdiscs, and yes, back to the video. Hello, this is Mama Murph, and yes, I hear you've all been looking for me, or rather, at least my husband has been looking for me for the past 33 years, and I've been looking for him, and it's led us here, and we're finally back together, and I can't really believe it. This was kind of a last-ditch attempt. I'd heard a rumor of this place, this Murph Manor here, and I just found my way here, and there they are, several of my children. I have rather a lot. I'm sure they've talked about this in the past, but yes, perhaps most importantly, that was the love of my life that I've spent the last 33 years looking for, and from what I believe, he's been looking for me too. So you've probably heard his side of the story in a previous video, after we were pulled apart really violently in Pennsylvania station, which of course I now know is in New York. I had no idea. There was just a sign saying Pennsylvania, and that's kind of where the confusion starts. But we were pulled violently apart by all of the, not intentionally, it's just that there's that much traffic going either way. His hand came with me, and yes, I held on to that hand for a jolly good few years. It did start to smell a bit after a few years, and unfortunately then some rats ate it. So he's gotten. So I'm quite happy to see he has a new hand. It's very nice indeed. So yes, we got pulled apart. It was just a swarm of people coming through, and I ended up on a train. And the next thing I knew, I was in Canada. I remember the last place I'd seen my husband was in Pennsylvania, or what I thought was Pennsylvania because of the sign, but it was obviously Pennsylvania Station in New York. So I got on the next train to Pennsylvania. I spent some time in a nice little town called Intercourse, which is a funny name. There's a big sign as you enter the town. It's Amish country, so there's a big sign saying "Jesus loves intercourse." Obviously they mean the town, and not. Well, he probably liked that too. He did seem the sort that got around a bit. So yes, I lived with some Amish people for a few years. That was fine. But eventually I made my way back to England. I figured we'd come from there in the first place. Well, I mean, originally he was born in China, I was born in Japan. But we made a life for ourselves in England and ended up in America through odd circumstances that I'm sure he's told you about in a previous video. So I went back to London, and I thought, well, maybe he went back there too, and I just sort of spent the next several years wandering around England. I went from one end of it to, well, the whole UK, really. I remember there was this band that we used to see in the early 90s before we went to America, called The Verve. Well, they were just Verve at that point. This was 1992, it was before their first album came out. They'd had a few EP single type thingies, and yes, we really liked them, so we saw them a lot. And by this point, it was 1998, and they were doing some shows at the Brixton Academy, so I went along there in the hopes that maybe Papa Murph might also show up. You saw the Verve in 1998 at Brixton Academy? Yes. That's amazing. I saw the very next show, their homecoming show in Wigan. I thought you'd be there. I thought if it was going to be a show you might go to that one. I went to Brixton because that was closest to where we used to live. Wow. We missed each other by however many dates there were between those shows. So I wasn't really getting anywhere in England, so I went to mainland Europe for a few years and travelled around there. At the dawn of the new millennium, I was working at a nightclub in Berlin. And then in 2001, I returned to New York, which was probably the worst time to return to New York because the day after I flew in, the day I flew in was September 10th, 2001. You're not going to believe this. I flew out of New York on the 9th of September, 2001. I'd gone back there because I thought maybe there might be some sign of you there. We just missed each other. Again. Wow. So after helping out with rescue operations around New York for a little while, I then got on a train, this time voluntarily, and found myself in Texas. I then travelled around the American South for a good couple of years. Well, it was a quite dodgy couple of years, really. Yes, I'd rather not think about that particular time in my life, but moving on. But then in 2004 I was in California, and that was pretty fun. I spent a lot of time on the beach. I would say working on my tan, but we gorillas, we already have, pretty much jet black skin, so it's not going to get much darker. To be completely honest, I was drunk. You've dragged it out of me. That's what happened in the South. I just sort of developed a good taste for whiskey. And so I was drinking a lot of whiskey, and it was whiskey business indeed. And so when I got to California, I was mostly just lying on the beach with a bottle or 7 and just getting completely wankered. It was pretty miserable. I mean, I'd had all of my children taken away from me before all of this had happened, and now I'd lost my husband as well, and I was just really falling apart. A local rock band called Black Rebel Motorcycle Club said that I could crash in their rehearsal space, and so I was doing that for a few years, and I even went on tour with them a couple of times, mostly just watching the van and things like that, or wherever it was they were keeping their equipment, because who's going to mess with a gorilla? After that, I ended up back in Japan, and yes, I spent more time searching there. I thought maybe find some of our roots in Japan, and that really didn't get anywhere either. And I just sort of travelled around Asia for a few years. Came down to Australia and New Zealand, but my search for Papa Murph was not really getting me anywhere. I was still drinking a lot. I'd sort of gotten it under control through the years of touring with the Black Rebel Motorcycle Club. I then went to Africa in 2010 and basically just searched that continent from the southernmost part to the northernmost part. You were in Africa in 2010? So was I, but I searched from the north to the south. I'm surprised we didn't bump into each other in the middle. And then returned to the UK and spent some time in Ireland as well. Still not really getting anywhere, but then I went to South America. I explored all around South America for a few years, before eventually I ended up back in the United States. Now, all these years of travelling, I sort of worn myself out, and so during my time in the South earlier, in the southern parts of America, there was a family called the Phillips family that were very kind to me, took me in when they'd found me drunk on the street they'd found me when I'd fallen asleep drunk and given me a place to stay. And they graciously allowed me to come and stay with them again. So that's what I ended up doing around 2015. And just sort of did odd jobs for them around the house, using my gorilla strength for the last sort of 10 years. Then I found the Murph Manor website, which is on the screen now. I got in touch, and arrangements were made for me to come here. So I literally just arrived, and now here I am, and I'm reunited with my husband, and I'm actually getting to know some of my children, which is amazing. And I'm absolutely over the moon and delighted to be here. So I hope you'll be as delighted to see me as I am to see my family. And what else to say? Thank you for making this Murphiverse thing online happen, because who knows, maybe I'd still be out there recovering from my long search. And I was still searching. I was searching online, trying all of the Facebooking and Twittering thingies, and wasn't really getting anywhere. But I finally found where I belong. So thank you very much. And now I'm going to do some very private things with my husband. Well, on that note, I think we'll leave that there. You don't need to see that. I know I don't. So, yes, don't forget Home for the Elderly and our website, and to like, comment, and subscribe if you could be so kind. And we'll see you next week with another video. We haven't decided which one that will be yet. It could be the one I wanted to do, but that may go on the back burner. It depends on what everybody else has ready. So, yes, thank you for watching, and keep on swimming. I don't know if that catchphrase is going to take on, but we'll give it a go.